Well, this past weekend in the NHL, an infamous play took place between two enforcers. Now, Evan Kenny joins me now to talk a little bit more about this. Now, Evan, there's a lot to get into here. So first of all, can you kind of just break down what happened?
Yeah, Jay. So this was on Saturday night in a game between the Ottawa Senators and the LA Kings. The two players taking part in this being Ottawa Senators captain Brady Tkachuk and Brendan Lemieux. Both of these guys, no stranger to a little bit of roughhousing, as Brady Tkachuk led the NHL last season with 7 fighting majors. Brendan Lemieux not far behind with 5 fighting majors last season. So they did get into a fight in the last 10 minutes of the third period in this game. So something, not really out of the ordinary as well. Both these guys are second-generation fighters, having their dads done the exact same role when they played in the NHL. So as this fight was concluding, both these players were on the ground. And then it seemed as though Brady Tkachuk got up and he was holding the side of his hand. It turned out, or at least Brady Tkachuk claims, that Brendan Lemieux did bite the side of his hand as the fight was wrapping up.
No, obviously things on the ice were heated after this, but things continued off the ice as Brady Tkachuk had some choice words.
Yeah, definitely some choice words, to say the least here, Jace. To quote Brady Tkachuk here, he spoke to CSN afterwards and he said, this guy, you can ask any of his teammates, nobody wants to play with him. So some pretty harsh criticism, but then he took some shots even further down, saying it's outrageous. Kids don't even do that anymore. Babies do that. I don't even know what he was thinking. He's just a complete brickhead. He's got nothing up there. Bad guy, bad player, but what a joke he is. So after that was said, right after the game, the next day, Sunday, Jonathan Quick, goaltender for the LA Kings, he jumped to the defense of his teammate in Brendan Lemieux. Jonathan Quick said, what I can tell you is that that any comments that were made about Lemieux were garbage. He's a valuable player who sticks up for his teammates. We all support him, and I'd rather have him on my team over that kid any day of the week. So very choice words by both sides of this thing. It'll be interesting as well, just seeing what happens.
All right, Evan. Well, this isn't the first time that the NHL fighting incident. I think back in the 2015 Stanley Cup Finals, Andrew Shaw was suspected of biting, but nothing ended up coming of that. You have to go all the way back to 2009 when a player actually was suspended for this. So what do you think is going to happen after this?
Jace, it's really tough to say. What really comes into my mind first and foremost is Brendan Lemieux is having an in-person hearing from the NHL Department of Player Safety. So what this in-person hearing means is that the NHL can suspend him for 5 or more games now because of this in-person hearing. I don't think they would have an in-person hearing, if it wasn't sort of leaning towards that side of a potential 5 or more game suspension. As well, the NHL has just been cracking down more and more when it comes to player safety. Looking already this year, there's been more suspensions and more money lost in suspensions than there was all of last season. I know it was only a 56-game season, but still already more suspensions this season. And the final thing that really comes into my mind and plays a factor in the suspension side of things, Jace, is Brendan Lemieux does have a rap sheet on him. He has 2 separate 2-game suspensions throughout his career, one coming in the 2020 play-in rounds when New York Rangers were taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. And then as well, back in 2018, he got a 2-game for a hit to the head. He also has a $2,000 fine on his rap sheet. So just because of his past and the in-person hearing, the way the NHL is going, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see 5 or more games, Jace.
All right, well, I know this is an incident that got a lot of the hockey world talking, so we'll have to see what happens with it. Thanks again, as always, Evan.
Yeah, thank you, Jace.